So we just finished washing the strawberries, cutting the tops off and any yucky bits, blending them up, and then getting them into our Ziploc bags. So I will not be making the jam today. This is to go into the freezer so that I can make it at a later day. I do already have 2 bags, yes, in the freezer already from previous strawberries going on sale. Right now we have 3 of the gallon Ziploc bags that I just filled up, and that was 2 full flats, which would have been 16 pounds of strawberries. If I can, I like to break it up into 2 different days. Or for me, I think the most time consuming part is cutting the tops off all the strawberries. So got that done out of the way, and at a later date we will get the strawberries mixed into the jam. So we'll see ya. All right, now on to the second portion of our video. It has been a couple weeks since I did the first part, and so now we're doing just the other steps of making the jam. We do have it on the heat, coming to a boil. Solvent that's in there. There is 39 cups of pureed strawberries. That is warming up in that. And while that's warming up, we're just going to talk about the pectin part. I grew up using, Sure Gel, just Kroger brand, off brand, worked both really well. Probably 2 years ago, I switched to a different type of pectin. It is called Palmer's Universal Pectin, and it comes, this is, I can't remember what size, this is the bigger size. I can't remember if this was a pound. I don't fully remember, but the Palmer's comes like this, the pectin, and then it also comes with this packet to make calcium water. They just work hand in hand, they come together. We'll continue talking about it. So I have switched to doing this. It is overall cheaper of doing it this way. Like up front it's more, but overall it's cheaper than buying this. The other reason why I switched to doing the Palmer's is because you can do a lot less sugar than what calls for this, or you can also use whatever type of sweetener. I use raw organic cane sugar is the sweetener I use. You can also use honey, your alternative sweeteners, your monk fruit. I'm drawing a blank as to the other sweeteners. I don't know why, but I can't think of it. But so this way you can use whatever sweetener you want, and it can also be a low amount of sugar that you're adding, or you can do the full amount. It comes with instructions, it gives you everything that you need for your different types of fruits, for the jams and the jellies. We're making jam today, the whole fruit, and it just lets you know, obviously, if you need to add lime juice, lemon juice, if you want to use honey. So yes, so I have used this pectin for the strawberry jam. I do it for raspberry jam, peach jam, apricot, plum. I also do a peach jalapeno or a peach and serrano jam as well. It all works really well, sets nicely. So with this heating up per the instructions for the Palmer's Universal Pectin, is while it's heating up, it gives you the instructions on how to make the calcium water. This is just what I have left over. And so I've added the calcium water into the pot, and we're just having it come to a boil. Once it has come to a boil, then we're going to add all of our sugar, and the pectin is also in the sugar, the sweetener, and it's just been mixed up so that when it comes time to pouring it into the hot liquid, it all mixed together really well. It's a boiling, so as we pour in our sugar, we're just going to whisk it just to distribute it evenly better. It's easier to whisk it than to do it with a spoon or a spatula, in my opinion. And so for those 39 cups, we only used 10 cups of sugar. So with being able to use a lower amount of sugar, it tastes a lot more like strawberry than sweet fruit, you know? Just making sure we're getting that bottom really well. We don't want any burned bits. Keeping the sides straight the best we can as well. And now we just need to wait for this to come back up to a rolling boil, which means you can't, when you're stirring or whisking it, the bubbles don't go away, they keep bubbling. So as we are waiting for this pot to come back to a boil and be done, then we can put it into our canning jars. The other reason why I like this, because I said it's faster, in my opinion. Because if I remember right, you have to you heat it up, add your sugar, let it dissolve, and then I think you have to let it sit for 20 minutes each batch. So with this, it's one and done. As big of a batch as you want. The other thing with the jam I'm doing is we are canning it. I did grow up with it being freezer jam, so once you ladled it into your container, you just froze it from there. With this, once we ladle it into our pint jars, we will then can it, and it's just water bath canning it for 15 minutes for these pint jars, and then it's shelf stable. I switched to doing it this because I wanted to free up a lot of freezer space for meat that we grow. So this is almost getting closer to a boil. And once I did add all that sugar, a lot of the foam did go down. Let me show you. Let's see, a lot of it went down, and we are just continuing to give it a stir. Make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. So while we are waiting for, you can't see it, for the pot to warm up, come to a boil, the jam, I do have my other pot that I'm going to be heating up to water bath can. With water bath canning, you do not have to use a pressure cooker. This pot is generally what I use to water bath can, but because I'm using it for the jam, I'm just using my pressure cooker. And then we have hard water, and so I'm going to add a splash of vinegar, and it cuts down on all the calcium buildup. So like the white calcium that builds up on the jars after they're done boiling. That helps to prevent that, which is so nice. It doesn't matter anything if the calcium is on there, it just makes it prettier is all. Yeah, but nothing white on your jar that you have to wipe off. All right, we're to our boil now. Just gonna let it keep going for like another minute, just to make sure that that pectin's been activated and all that. So, and another thing, make sure you use a big enough pot to allow for expansion. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, so we are just going to turn off the heat to it now, and I will get my jars right here. Oh, can't see it, but right here, and we'll start ladling them into there.
All right, that's as good as an angle as I can get for you right now to see the pop and the jars. So we are just filling them up to 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch headspace. And generally when you get a canning kit, it will come with, not the ladle, it comes with a bubble remover kind of stir, you'll see. And then this is a gauge. Let's see, it's gonna be backwards, but it does have, I don't know if you can see that, you got 1 inch, what does that say? Oh, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/4 inch. So each stair lets you know how far you need to fill it. And it is just, you put it on the lid of the headspace you need. So for 1/4 inch, you can fill it all the way up basically to this full wraparound ring. However, how full I like to do them is to this bottom one, which would technically be 3/4 inch headspace. That's just how it's easy for me to gauge to that ring. As well as when you get the kit, you get the grabber for when you're canning. It just goes around the lid like this, because you don't want to be burning your hands. And a funnel to this one would come with a green funnel. However, I prefer to use a metal funnel. Just preference is all. So let's get to ladling. And I like to just make sure my jars are as close to my pot as possible to reduce spillage. All right, so as you see, we got them full. So now we're just gonna take a damp rag, make sure our rims are wiped clean. And then we take a flat with a ring. Careful with the jars, they're hot. You just go till finger tight and put this into the water bath canner that is warming up. Then I am doing it, stacking it double. We are packed full. I did not even count to see how many are in there, but now we're just, whoops. But now I'm just gonna be putting on the lid, waiting for this to come to a full boil. Once it's at a boil, we will set the timer for 15 minutes. Oh, there's 22 in there. Thanks. There's 22 pints in there, and then I have the last 2 right there. That won't fit, they'll be in the next batch. So after the 15 minutes is done, we'll remove the lid, and then we'll just place them for overnight to 24 hours to let them seal, finish sealing, and cool down to make sure they sealed well before we store them. Okay, so it is the next day, and we got them all canned up, water bath canned, and now they have just been resting overnight, cooling down, and I've tested all the seals. Lovely display. So you just check them, make sure they don't pop back up. This is the last batch that I got done, so I'm just finishing taking the rings off of them. You do not store them with the rings because you don't want it to create a false seal and end up giving you a bad seal. And remember to
date and label. So for me, I simply just put the year, and since this is strawberry jam, I'm just gonna put an S. Very easy for me to remember that. We got us some thick jam. It worked. It worked. And remember, don't forget to enjoy your hard work, give it a taste, and we'll catch you next time.